Welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Alex Colon, this is Sascha Segan, and today we're going to talk about the top 3 news stories of the day. We're going to answer one of your questions, and we're going to show you one cool thing from the PCMag labs. So let's start with the biggest news story of the day, and this is that Xbox One owners can now pay a monthly subscription fee for EA games.
Yeah, this could potentially turn into a big thing. The new EA Access program right now only has 4 games in it: FIFA 14, Madden NFL 25, Peggle 2, and Battlefield 4. Now, those are really popular big-name games, but EA will continue to expand this program. So you're going to have more games on the subscription service, $5 a month, $30 a year, and this becomes potentially a real advantage for Xbox One over PlayStation 4. And it's funny to hear kind of how sour Sony is about this whole thing. Sony said that, oh, it's not a very good value, we have PlayStation Plus, oh, well, we don't need you, EA, huh? And it'll just be really interesting to see if this changes the balance of power among the game consoles.
Yeah, so those are the games that are available now, and it'll also be interesting to see which other ones come in the future. Mm-hmm. Okay, so our second story of the day is that smartphone growth continues, but surprisingly, Apple and Samsung have been losing market share, according to the research firm IDC.
It's not that surprising about Apple, because Apple is very, very, very seasonal. You see huge peaks when there's an iPhone released, and then everybody buys an iPhone for a couple of months, and then there's a drop in the quarters after the iPhone comes out. Right now, there's a lot of pent-up demand for the large-screen iPhone 6, so there's a lot of people holding back from buying iPhones. So we're probably going to see a big boost with Apple next quarter. But Samsung losing market share is a bigger concern, because if you look at these IDC numbers, you see that China and the developing world are where a lot of new smartphones are being sold. And Lenovo and Huawei, and to some extent other smaller Chinese vendors, are really starting to bite into Samsung's dominance there. So the question is, like, once you look outside of the United States, the question is, can Samsung keep up their dominance in the face of all of these Chinese vendors coming in with slightly lower priced, still decent quality products? I mean, you've tested a lot of Huawei products, right?
Yes,
what do you think of their stuff?
It varies from phone to phone, but I mean, in general, they kind of occupy the lower end of the spectrum, at least here. We don't see most of the higher end releases.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, they're mostly decent phones.
So there you go. There you go. It's good. It's the phenomenon of the good enough. If these guys can come through with enough stuff that's good enough and $50 less, Samsung's in trouble.
Right. Okay, and our next story is that a new study conducted by HP shows that the average Internet of Things device has at least 25 security flaws.
Yeah, so now what kinds of, now it looks like they tested TVs, webcams, home thermostats, power outlets. What form do these security flaws take?
So there's 90% of the devices that they tested collect personal information.
Well, I mean, of course they do. Right. You know, like of course, like your TV would collect all of your like demographic data and all of your logins, so you could do the streaming services, right? That doesn't worry me too much.
Okay, so 70% transmitted data on an unencrypted network. Okay,
that's a little worrisome.
60% had insecure user interfaces.
Do you know what that means?
I have no idea what that means.
Okay, okay.
And 8 out of 10 of them failed to require a strong enough password.
Now, I think that is really interesting, because that goes to kind of the crisis of the password. As we get more and more things in our lives that keep demanding more and more passwords, and they all want them to be strong and they all want them to be different, the human mind cannot contain all of those damn passwords. Like, if you're going to need a password for all your power outlets, what's up with that? There needs to be a solution to this.
I actually keep a password protector on my phone, but you also need a password to get into that.
There you go. So. There you go.
And then I'm kind of curious, HP didn't say which devices that they actually tested, but they just said 10 of the most popular Internet of Things devices. So.
Well, they don't want, you know, they don't want crackers to take a look at them, to take a look at the list and say, oh, we'll hit that one now. Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to answer one of your questions, and this one comes from Sean via email. And Sean asks, I tried to switch from an iPhone to an Android phone, but all my text messages are now showing up in iMessage on my iPad and not on my phone. How do I fix this?
Okay, iMessage is insanely sticky. There are various instructions on the web for how to decouple yourself from iMessage if you switch away from an iPhone. But Apple will not admit that they make it purposefully difficult to get out of iMessage because they want you to stay in the Apple world. So as long as you still have something connected to iMessage and that phone number is somewhere in your iMessage account, then iMessages will route around SMS and go to the iMessage device. So you need to comb through your Apple account and remove all the phone numbers. Even then, it'll still probably take 3 or 4 days to fix itself.
Cool. And now we're going to show you one cool thing from the PCMag Labs. And today's cool thing is the Zotac Zbox Sphere OI520 Plus. And as you can see, it's an ultra small desktop. It has a really good price. It's $479.99. It has a very unique design, as you can see. Sasha, I know you were commenting on it earlier.
Yeah, I keep feeling like I should be able to take the top off and then it'll like glow green from within or something, or maybe hover.
It has a ton of ports on the back. There's a 4K output for it. The only thing is that it doesn't come with an operating system, so you're going to have to buy that separately. But other than that, it performed well, and it's cool to look at.
Yeah, and especially for people who, want to run some sort of Linux-type operating system. It's not obviously the cheapest small form factor build in the universe, but it might be the coolest.
Yeah. We gave it 4 stars. The review's up now, so you can check it out. And we will see you again tomorrow.